Hello students, how are you? Welcome to iTTV. I'm Miss Sonia, your Form 1 English tutor. Today, we have a really interesting lesson. Now students, let me tell you a story. Just the other day, as I was walking around my neighborhood, I came upon a young boy and his father burning rubbish right in front of their house. They were adding plastic bottles, dried paper, dried leaves and twigs. Everything was going into that burning pile of rubbish. And what was it emitting? Yes, dark, foul smoke. So you see, that has something to do with our topic for today. Keep it green, keep it clean. That is our topic for today. Now students, I'm just going to ask you a few questions and let's just see what you know about global warming. Now, what is global warming all about, students? Yes, very good. You see, you might know what global warming is. It is when the Earth's atmosphere increases, or the temperature, and the sea level as well. The sun's energy heats up the Earth and causes changes in weather, which can be harmful to the environment and to humans as well. Now students, I ask you, what can you do to help our Earth become better at what they do? It's very simple. Pick up a more economical car. The less CO2 you put out into the air, the less harm we make to our Earth. Now what about protecting our forest? You might have heard a lot about how forests are being cut down, trees are used for logging. So you see, when we start by taking care of our forest, we actually help ourselves as well. You see, because you know, the trees give us oxygen to breathe. Now you should also note how to recycle your products, like plastic bottles, glass bottles. Make sure you recycle them. Paper as well. Paper is very important. You do know where we get our paper from, right? Yes, from trees. So if you recycle paper, you help save the trees. So like I said earlier, today's topic is going to be about keep it green, keep it clean. Now I'm sure once or twice you might have thrown something out of the car that you're in. Don't do that, students. Keep it. Throw it later into a proper garbage bin. You see, the Earth is at the moment sick and we need to help it out. So the less damage we do to it, the better it becomes. Now, today's lesson we are going to do a comprehension passage and comprehension questions as well. Now we're going to talk about Ziana. Now Ziana is going to tell us a story about how her world, her environment is changing. Now pay careful attention, students, because I'm going to ask you questions after. Let's start with the comprehension passage. But before that, take a look at these pictures. Isn't it sad? Look at the first picture, students. You have a man cutting down a huge tree. Now this tree might have taken 100 years to grow, and there it goes. In 5 minutes, it's down like a giant falling down. How do we do that? Why do we do that? See, if we recycle our stuff, we don't need to fell trees down. And look at the next picture. You can see those logs of trees going on a lorry and probably going to the factory to be used. And the next picture, look at that hill. It's such a sad looking hill, isn't it, students? You see, that hill used to be filled with trees. It probably had animals living in it. But now with all the trees gone, where are the animals going as well? That's what happens when animals start encroaching into humans, where humans live. Now, it is not the animals' fault, students. It is us. It is us going to their habitat, pulling out their homes, tearing down their homes, and leaving bare hills for them to live in. It's not a good sight. And what about the next picture. You can see a burning land. This is very sad, students, because what happens is once you burn rubbish and you burn trees and you burn land, the smoke emits into the atmosphere and it goes into our atmosphere and makes it smoggy. And I'm sure you've had instances where there's been a thick haze in the city. Why is that happening? Yes, trees being burned down, forests being burnt down. That is why we feel sick sometimes when the haze comes along. So students, if you start at home, if you start recycling at home, everyone does their part, you might notice the earth having a change in its environment. Now, let us go on to our passage for today. Let's read. Ziana looked through the window at the children playing without a single worry. They were running around chasing each other despite the scorching sun. There was not a single tree around. All the trees had just been chopped down. Her husband Adam had tried his best to stop the trees from being felled, but his cries and appeals were in vain. Many times, the residents in the area had marched down to the district office, but each time they had been sent back with only empty promises. Ziana and Adam represent the many people who are victims of deforestation. With more and more trees being sacrificed, children today are becoming strangers to the various flora and fauna that once were part and parcel of this environment. Deforestation also deprives us of fresh air. Trees are essential to provide us with oxygen. Thus, as trees are cut down, we lose oxygen from the air. The outcome of such a loss is health problems such as breathing difficulties, asthma, and lung infections. In conclusion, deforestation brings about a lot of hardship to man, flora and fauna. Instead of chopping trees, we must learn to preserve and reforest. So students, that was our passage. Now, what was the passage about? Yes, it was about Ziana watching her children play in the park on the field. But it's scorching out there, it's hot. And why is that? Because there are no trees. You see, trees shade you. It gives you a bit of shade, makes things a bit cooler. But if there are no trees, where's the shade? Where is the oxygen we are going to breathe in? You see, by cutting down trees, we're just making lives very difficult for us. And in the story as well, we realized that we need to preserve and reforest. By deforesting, we take away the chances of our children's children having a healthy life. Having a healthy life without asthma, lung infections, breathing difficulties. These are the problems that children face today because of the air we breathe. A lot of CO2, carbon dioxide, all around us, carbon monoxide coming out from the cars, and all of these things make our health become worse. Now students, what do you think you can do to help our earth become better? It's sick at the moment, so you need to give it medicine to become better. Why don't you start with planting a tree in front of your house? Plant that tree, give it love, make sure it grows into a beautiful big tree. And if each one of you plants a tree, imagine how many trees there will be. And by planting that tree, you'll notice it will give you shade, you'd feel a little bit more cooler, and you might even plant a fruit tree and it might give you something in return. Now, let us move on to the comprehension questions. I hope you paid careful attention to the passage because here are your questions. Now, our first question. Why was the sun so hot? The answer is, they were running around chasing each other despite the scorching sun. There was not a single tree around. So there you go, students. That's your answer to the first question. Why was the sun so hot? There was not a single tree around. Next question. Why were Adam and the other residents going to the district office? All the trees had just been chopped down. Her husband, Adam, had tried his best to stop the trees from being felled, but his cries and appeals were in vain. So students, that was the reason Adam and the other residents were going to the district office. You see, they fought for the trees to be there, but to no avail. So they went to the district office in hopes that maybe they could talk to somebody to help preserve those trees. Why are modern children unaware of the various flora and fauna? The answer is, with more and more trees being sacrificed, children today are becoming strangers to the various flora and fauna that once were part and parcel of this environment. So there you go, students. You see, with more and more trees being sacrificed, sacrificed means being killed or being cut down or being taken away, basically to have no existence anymore. Children today are becoming strangers to flora and fauna. Flora means plants and fauna means animals. And that flora and fauna was once part and parcel, means it was one with the earth. Now you can't see all these sort of animals and plants growing or running around because the trees have been cut down. So where would the animals go? They've gone hidden somewhere, or maybe they even have died. So you see, by keeping the trees alive, we might be able to help the animals as well. When do people fall ill? Thus, as trees are cut down, we lose oxygen from the air. The outcome of such a loss is health problems such as breathing difficulties, asthma, and lung infections. So students, that is the answer to our fourth question. You see, with the trees being cut down, the air becomes bad. We have carbon monoxide in our air, CO2 in there as well, and it just becomes very hard to breathe. You start getting asthma, you start getting breathing difficulties, even lung infections. Now, if children start getting these illnesses, they grow up into very sickly adults. So this is a reason why trees should not be cut down, so we can have clean air to breathe in. Now, let us go on to our last question. How can we provide a better world for our children. In conclusion, deforestation brings about a lot of hardship to man, flora and fauna. Instead of chopping trees, we must learn to preserve and reforest. So there you go. It says, how can we provide a better world for our children? Well, we should start to reforest. Now, reforest is the opposite of deforesting. We start to grow trees. Make sure they're not cut down for any sort of reason. We preserve them, which means to keep them alive. And that's the only way we might be able to have a better earth. Now, students, we've come to the end of our lesson, so let us recap what we learned today. We talked about Earth, how global warming is affecting Earth, how we don't make sure the trees are being kept alive. All these issues make us unhealthy people because it's the air that we're breathing in, and this air is turning bad. So, like I said, keep it clean, keep it green. By keeping the earth clean, we keep the earth green. Now remember, recycle, reuse, reduce. By doing this, we might save the earth. We've come to the end of our lesson, students, and I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. Thank you for watching iTTV. I'm Miss Sonia, your Form 1 English tutor.